Ladies and gentlemen, you were not created to struggle through life, barely making it, waiting for something to change. You were designed to live in the fullness of God's blessings. But blessings are not accidents. They don't fall from the sky like rain. Blessings are the result of understanding and applying divine principles. A blessing is not just money in the bank or a new opportunity. A blessing is the ability to maximize what God has given you, to turn potential into purpose, and to leave a legacy that outlives you. Today, I want to show you how to unlock the blessings already assigned to your life. Everything you need is already in God's hands. He is not trying to figure out your future. He has already planned it. You don't need to chase blessings. You need to align yourself with the blesser. When you walk in obedience and understanding, blessings will pursue you. Many people pray for blessings but violate the principles that produce them. You cannot expect financial breakthrough while mismanaging money. You cannot ask for divine favor while walking in disobedience. Prayer is powerful, but principles sustain what prayer activates. God placed inside you the seed of greatness. Your gift is your assignment. It is a solution you were born to bring to the world. When you discover, develop, and deploy your gift, you unlock doors that no man can shut. Blessings flow where purpose is fulfilled. God never gives you what you pray for. He gives you what you can manage. If you want increase, you must first prove you can handle what you have now. A person who mismanages their present cannot be trusted with their future. When you steward well, blessings multiply. Your character determines your capacity. Many people sabotage their blessings because they lack the integrity to sustain them. Dishonesty, pride, and selfish ambition will block the flow of God's favor. But when you walk in truth, honor, and humility, you position yourself for divine promotion. God's blessings are not random. They are assigned to those who walk in His will. The closer you stay to His plan for your life, the more doors He will open. Seek first His kingdom, and everything else will follow. Stay faithful, stay focused, and watch how the blessings flow. You were not created to struggle. You were designed to thrive. Unlocking your blessings is not about luck. It is about aligning yourself with divine principles. When you walk in purpose, steward well, and honor God, He will release what is already yours. Step into your blessings and live the life you were destined for. The blessings are not just random occurrences in life. They are the direct result of divine design and intentionality. Understanding the source of blessings is key to experiencing their fullness. The blessings you receive, whether in abundance or small measures, are tied to a greater purpose and come from the Creator, the source of all good things. It is vital to recognize that everything you have or will have flows from this ultimate source. When you grasp this truth, your life begins to align with the purpose for which you were created. Many of us at some point have a tendency to look for blessings outside of ourselves or in external circumstances. We may think that blessings are about material possessions, financial gain, or an easy life. However, blessings go far beyond these surface level ideas. The truth is that the very breath in our lungs, the gift of life, the potential within us, and the opportunities we encounter are all blessings from the Creator. These are the things that matter the most, as they cannot be bought and they can never be taken away. The source of blessings is God. It's a relationship with Him that unlocks these blessings. Too often, people focus on their desires for blessings while neglecting their relationship with the one who provides them. The world may suggest that blessings come through hard work, luck, or being in the right place at the right time. But the ultimate source of all blessings is not found in human effort alone. God's word reminds us in numerous scriptures that every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of lights, who gives without partiality. When you understand the source of blessings, you also understand that they are not meant to be hoarded or used for personal gain alone. They are given with a greater purpose. Each blessing is a tool to fulfill God's plan for your life and to bless others around you. So often we think of blessings as something to be accumulated or hoarded. But God's blessings are not only about you, they are meant to be shared and passed on, creating a ripple effect that can change communities, families, and even nations. Consider the story of the rich young ruler in the Bible. He had everything: wealth, status, power, yet he was empty inside. Despite his abundance, he lacked the most essential blessing, the connection with the source, the Creator. He sought Jesus for advice on how to attain eternal life, but Jesus pointed out that his heart was tied to his wealth. In this story, we see how blessings that are disconnected from God's purpose ultimately fail to fulfill the person. The source of true blessings is not in earthly possessions or status. It is in a life that is aligned with God's will. Understanding the source of blessings also helps you to have an attitude of gratitude and contentment. When you recognize that every blessing is a gift from God, you no longer feel the need to compare yourself with others. Your heart becomes open to receiving more because you trust that God knows exactly what you need and when to provide it. This understanding brings peace as you no longer chase after temporary or superficial rewards, but rest in the fact that everything you need is provided by God in His perfect timing. True fulfillment and joy come from knowing that you are living in harmony with the source of blessings. This connection brings peace, knowing that your life is not random and your circumstances are not merely the result of chance. Instead, everything has a purpose, and the blessings in your life are designed to help you fulfill that purpose. When you recognize that the source of all blessings is with you, you begin to see the world through a different lens. No longer do you chase after fleeting pleasures or temporary gains. Instead, you pursue a deeper relationship with the Creator, knowing that this will bring lasting joy and fulfillment. Moreover, understanding the source of blessings challenges us to live a life of stewardship. When you acknowledge that the blessings you have are not yours to keep, but are gifts from God, it changes how you use them. You become more intentional with how you manage your time, resources, talents, and relationships. This stewardship of blessings honors the source, recognizing that they are not for selfish gain, but for the greater good. The more you steward well, the more blessings flow into your life. For God entrusts those who are faithful with even more. In conclusion, understanding the source of blessings changes everything. It shifts our mindset from seeing blessings as random or undeserved to seeing them as purposeful and divinely ordained. It reminds us that everything we have is a gift, not a result of our own efforts, but a grace given to us by a loving Creator. The source of blessings is not just an abstract idea. It is the living God who desires to see us walk in abundance, fulfillment, and purpose. When we recognize and align ourselves with this source, blessings flow naturally, and we begin to live the life we were always meant to live. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools available to us in life. It is the direct communication between us and the Creator, an intimate connection that allows us to bring our requests, desires, and gratitude to God. Many of us turn to prayer in times of need, seeking God's guidance, provision, and intervention. But there is a profound truth that must be understood. Prayer alone is not enough to bring about the changes we desire in our lives. While prayer connects us to the divine, It is the application of principles that sustains the results we seek. You can pray for blessings, guidance, and success, but if you do not live by the principles that govern these things, your prayers will not produce lasting transformation. Too often, people seek prayer as a substitute for the hard work of applying wisdom and principles. They pray for financial breakthrough, but continue to mismanage their money. They pray for health and healing, but neglect the principles of proper nutrition, exercise, and rest. They pray for better relationships, but fail to understand the principles of love, communication, and mutual respect. Prayer is not a magic formula that bypasses the need for personal responsibility or obedience to divine order. Instead, prayer should be the foundation from which we apply principles that align our lives with the will of God. The universe operates by principles, immutable, unchanging laws that govern every aspect of life. These principles are not arbitrary. They are the structure that sustains creation. Whether we acknowledge them or not, they are at work in our lives. The principle of sowing and reaping, for example, is one that applies universally. If you sow seeds of kindness, you will reap kindness in return. If you sow seeds of generosity, you will receive generosity. Similarly, the principle of faithfulness is foundational in every area of life. God rewards those who are faithful in little things with greater responsibilities and blessings. Prayer connects us to the source of blessings, but it is the consistent application of these principles that unlocks the blessings and ensures they remain. When you live by principles, you are in harmony with the natural and spiritual laws that govern the world. This harmony leads to a life of fulfillment and peace, as you are not fighting against the very structure that God has established. The principle of honor is a powerful example. When you honor others, especially those in positions of authority, you position yourself to receive honor in return. But if you disregard this principle, you find that doors that should open to you remain closed, and blessings that should flow are hindered. Similarly, the principle of diligence tells us that nothing worthwhile comes easily. We cannot expect to pray for success and then sit idly by. The principles of hard work and persistence are necessary to bring the results we desire. Prayer can ask for divine favor, but principles will direct our actions in a way that aligns with that favor. Living by principles also means taking ownership of the outcomes in your life. Too many people blame their circumstances, other people, or even God for the difficulties they face. But the reality is that many of the challenges we encounter come from our failure to live by the principles that govern life. If you are consistently making poor financial decisions, you cannot pray your way out of debt. If you do not invest time and energy in developing your skills and gifts, you cannot pray for career advancement. Prayer will not override your negligence or disregard for the principles that govern success in those areas. In fact, often the answer to your prayers comes not from a sudden miracle, but from the wisdom and discipline to apply the right principles at the right time. Principles also create stability. When you build your life on principles, you are not tossed around by the unpredictable winds of circumstance or emotion. You know how to navigate through difficult situations because you are anchored in truth. Whether it is the principle of perseverance when facing hardship, the principle of patience when waiting for something to materialize, or the principle of humility when experiencing success, these principles provide a framework for living that is not dependent on fluctuating external conditions. Prayer is powerful, but principles provide the structure that makes prayer effective. They ensure that the blessings we ask for are not just temporary, but sustainable. At the heart of living by principles is a deep trust in God's wisdom and timing. Prayer invites us into the presence of God, but it is through the practice of divine principles that we experience the transformation we seek. Principles enable us to walk out the truth we pray for. When you live by principles, you understand that prayer without action is incomplete. It's not about choosing between prayer and principles, but rather about recognizing that they work together. Prayer opens the door, but principles walk you through it, allowing you to live a life that reflects the power of your faith and the wisdom of divine order. In the end, it is the combination of prayer and principles that leads to a life that is not only blessed, but also impactful. Prayer without principles is like building a house on sand. It may appear stable for a while, but eventually it will crumble. When you pair prayer with a consistent application of divine principles, you are building your life on a solid foundation, one that will stand strong and secure no matter what challenges come your way. Every one of us has been endowed with unique gifts and talents, each carefully crafted by the Creator. These gifts are not random or accidental, they are intentional, placed within us to fulfill a specific purpose in the world. The problem, however, is that many people go through life unaware of their gifts or fail to develop them. Some might even bury their gifts, either out of fear, lack of confidence, or a misconception that they aren't capable of greatness. The truth is that your gifts are your inheritance, your key to purpose, and the pathway to unlocking the blessings that God has already planned for you. Discovering your gifts begins with understanding that they are not necessarily things you can see with your physical eyes. Gifts can take many forms: talents, skills, passions, and the ability to solve problems in ways that others cannot. They might manifest as a natural ability to connect with people, an intuitive understanding of complex ideas, or a deep creativity that brings beauty and order to the world. These gifts are often something that comes easily to you, something you love to do, or something that brings you joy. Yet, recognizing them is only the first step in a much deeper journey. It's not enough to simply identify your gifts. You must also take the responsibility of developing them. Many people spend their lives with untapped potential because they either neglect to nurture their abilities or are too afraid to take the necessary steps toward growth. Gifts by their nature are meant to be honed. Just as a musician practices an instrument or an athlete trains for performance, the discovery of your gifts demands that you invest time and effort into developing them. Through practice, learning, and applying yourself, you turn a natural ability into an extraordinary skill. Sometimes discovering and using your gifts requires a shift in mindset. The world often teaches us to look for success in things that are more external, like material wealth, status, or popularity. While these things may seem appealing, they don't necessarily align with your purpose. Instead, true success comes from aligning yourself with the gifts that God has placed within you. It is when you begin to operate in your gifts that you experience fulfillment and success in ways that transcend anything external. The joy that comes from using your gifts in the way they were intended to be used is far greater than any temporary reward that the world can offer. The key to truly using your gifts is to align them with purpose. Your gifts were not given to you to serve only your own interests. They are meant to solve problems, uplift others, and contribute to the greater good. When you begin to understand the deeper purpose of your gifts, you realize that they are not just for you, they are for the world around you. Whether you are a teacher, a healer, an artist, or an entrepreneur, your gifts were designed to meet a need in society. They are the tools God has given you to make a positive impact, to change lives, and to influence the world in ways that only you can. Once you begin to use your gifts in alignment with your purpose, doors begin to open, opportunities arise, connections are made, and favor follows. This is because when you operate within your gift, you are in your natural element, and God's favor flows where you are fulfilling His purpose. Blessings are often tied to the use of your gifts. As you share them with the world, you also begin to see the abundance that comes from aligning with your purpose. It's a principle that is as old as time. What you sow, you reap. When you sow your gifts into the lives of others, you are sowing blessings that will return to you in unexpected ways. The fear of failure is often one of the biggest barriers to using your gifts. Many are paralyzed by the thought of not being good enough, of failing in their efforts, or being judged by others. But the truth is, your gifts are not about perfection. They are about progression. They are meant to be used, even if that means taking risks, learning from mistakes, and growing through challenges. The journey of using your gifts is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Each step you take toward using your gifts more effectively is a step toward living a life of purpose and fulfillment. In addition to discovering and developing your gifts, it's important to remember that gifts are not given to be hoarded, but to be shared. When you use your gifts for the benefit of others, you not only make an impact, but also experience the true joy that comes from giving. Your gifts are meant to serve and to enrich the lives of those around you. When you operate in this mindset, you create a cycle of blessing that comes back to you in ways you may never have imagined. The beauty of giving is that it multiplies. And the more you give, the more you receive. Not necessarily in material wealth, but in fulfillment, joy, and purpose. In the end, the discovery and use of your gifts is not just about finding success or recognition. It's about walking in alignment with your true purpose. When you embrace and develop your gifts, you step into the person you were always meant to be, fulfilling the potential that God placed inside you from the beginning. It is through this process of discovery, development, and use that you find your true calling, the one that gives your life meaning and significance beyond anything this world can offer. Stewardship is often misunderstood. It is typically seen through the lens of financial management or responsibility over material possessions. But true stewardship goes far deeper than that. Stewardship is not about ownership. It's about responsibility. It's about understanding that everything you have, your time, talents, relationships, resources, and even the opportunities presented to you are not yours to possess, but are entrusted to you by a higher power. Living with a mindset of stewardship means recognizing that you are a custodian of the gifts, blessings, and responsibilities that have been placed in your life. It is about taking care of what you've been given and using it wisely to honor the one who gave it to you. A steward understands that they are not the owner of their possessions or the source of their blessings. Ownership implies control and entitlement, but stewardship requires humility, respect, and a sense of duty. This mindset shifts your perspective from what do I want for myself to how can I use what I have been given to make a positive impact in the world. A steward does not accumulate things for the sake of accumulation, but rather they seek to invest what they have in a way that produces fruit, blesses others, and fulfills a greater purpose. In many ways, stewardship is a reflection of faith. The foundation of being a good steward lies in trusting that the resources you have are not just the result of your own hard work, but are gifts from God. This trust leads to gratitude, knowing that what you have is not something to cling to, but something to be used for good. When you recognize that God is the ultimate provider, it becomes easier to approach life with an attitude of responsibility rather than a sense of entitlement. You understand that you are entrusted with much, not because you earned it, but because God has deemed you worthy of managing it. It is this understanding that allows a steward to live with integrity and humility, knowing that their life is a reflection of God's generosity. The mindset of stewardship extends to every area of life. For instance, your time is a precious resource. Each day is an opportunity to either waste or invest, to live with purpose or to drift aimlessly. A steward recognizes the value of time and seeks to use it wisely. This means prioritizing what truly matters. Building relationships, contributing to the greater good. Wasting time or squandering opportunities is seen as a failure to honor the gift of life itself. A steward is intentional with their time, understanding that every moment is a chance to make a meaningful impact. Similarly, when it comes to talents and gifts, a steward recognizes that they are not for selfish gain, but for service. Each person is endowed with unique abilities, whether in creativity, leadership, problem solving, or communication. These gifts are not meant to be buried or hidden away out of fear or complacency. Instead, they should be developed, honed, and used to benefit others. A steward does not simply hold on to their talents, they invest them, whether in their careers, in their communities, or in the lives of those around them. A steward understands that by using their gifts to serve others, they are honoring the one who gave them those gifts in the first place. When you embrace a mindset of stewardship, you also begin to recognize the importance of managing your finances in a way that reflects responsibility and generosity. Money, like time and talent, is a resource that must be stewarded wisely. It is not meant to be hoarded or spent recklessly, but rather used to meet your needs, support others, and further the work of God's kingdom. A steward of finances practices budgeting, saving, and giving, knowing that money is a tool that can be used for good. When you view finances through the lens of stewardship, you are less likely to make impulsive or selfish decisions and more likely to use your resources in a way that aligns with your values. The mindset of stewardship also encompasses how you handle your relationships. Relationships are among the most valuable things in life, and as a steward, you are called to care for, nurture, and honor those connections. Whether it's your family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, your relationships are entrusted to you for a reason. You are to invest time, energy, and love into others, recognizing that by doing so, you are contributing to something much greater than yourself. A steward doesn't take relationships for granted, nor do they exploit or neglect them. Instead, they approach each relationship with care and responsibility, seeking to build up and encourage those they encounter. The concept of stewardship also teaches us the importance of taking care of our own well-being. It's easy to neglect our health, emotions, or spiritual life in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. But as a steward, you are called to care for your own body, mind, and spirit. This means making time for rest, practicing self-care, and seeking growth in your spiritual and emotional life. When you care for yourself, you are better equipped to serve others and to be a good steward of the gifts and responsibilities entrusted to you. Ultimately, embracing a mindset of stewardship transforms the way you approach every area of life. It shifts your focus from accumulation to contribution, from selfishness to service, and from short-term gain to long-term purpose. It encourages you to live with intentionality and responsibility, recognizing that what you have is not for you alone, but for the benefit of others. A steward understands that their life is a gift, and their responsibility is to use that gift wisely, to honor the one who entrusted it to them. Honor and integrity are two pillars that form the foundation of a life well lived. They go hand in hand, serving as the compass that guides you through life's challenges and opportunities. Living with honor means treating others with respect, dignity, and fairness, regardless of their status or background. Integrity, on the other hand, involves staying true to your values, principles, and word, even when no one is watching. Together, these qualities create a character that others can trust, admire, and rely on. Walking in honor and integrity is not just a moral choice, it is the key to living a life that leaves a lasting impact, one that is true to your highest self and your highest calling. To walk in honor is to give value to the people around you. It is about recognizing the inherent worth of every individual, whether they are your family, your colleagues, or even strangers you encounter throughout your day. Honor does not depend on someone else's actions or behaviors. It is a decision to treat others with respect because of who they are, not because of what they've done. It's easy to show honor to those who treat you well or who can offer you something in return, but true honor is shown when you treat those who can give you nothing with the same respect and care. Honor is also about being mindful of your words and actions. Your words have the power to build up or tear down. When you speak, do you lift others, or do you tear them down with gossip, criticism, or negativity? Walking in honor means choosing words that inspire, encourage, and empower others. It's also about living with humility, recognizing that everyone has a role to play and that no one is greater or lesser than another in the eyes of God. Honor involves placing value on people and situations, seeing the divine in each encounter and responding accordingly. Integrity is about being honest with yourself and with others. It is an unwavering commitment to do what is right, even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or when no one is watching. Integrity starts with knowing what you stand for and what you believe in. It's about aligning your actions with your values, regardless of external pressures or temptations. When you walk in integrity, you do not compromise your beliefs to gain the approval of others or to achieve personal success. You remain steadfast in your commitment to truth and righteousness, and you are not easily swayed by the opinions of others. One of the most challenging aspects of integrity is the ability to stand firm in your values, even when you are faced with adversity. It is easy to act with integrity when everything is going smoothly, but it is when things get tough that your true character is revealed. When you encounter temptation or face difficult decisions, integrity will help you navigate those moments with grace and honor. It's about making choices that align with your principles, even when it would be easier to take a shortcut or act out of convenience. Walking in integrity also means being accountable for your actions. It means owning up to your mistakes, learning from them, and making the necessary changes to improve. It is about being transparent and trustworthy so that those around you can count on your word and rely on your actions. Integrity builds trust, and trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. Without trust, it's impossible to build strong personal or professional bonds. When you walk in integrity, people know that you are dependable, and they know that your word is your bond. Together, honor and integrity help you live a life of purpose and authenticity. When you honor others, you cultivate relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. When you act with integrity, you create a reputation that is built on trust and reliability. These two qualities also help you align your actions with your higher purpose. They serve as a constant reminder that your life is not just about personal success, but about contributing to the greater good. Honor and integrity ensure that you make decisions that are in alignment with your values and that serve not only your own interests, but the interests of others as well. In today's world, it can be tempting to cut corners, bend the truth, or act out of self-interest, especially when the world around us often rewards these behaviors. But when you walk in honor and integrity, you are making a conscious choice to live a life of authenticity, one that reflects your deepest values and beliefs. It's about choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong, and about building a life that is respected and admired by others, not because of your achievements, but because of your character. Honor and integrity are the keys to a fulfilling, meaningful life. that is rich in relationships, trust, and purpose. Staying in alignment with God's purpose is a journey that requires constant awareness, discipline, and trust. Many people go through life without ever fully understanding the significance of being aligned with a higher calling. The world often leads us to pursue goals that are driven by personal ambition, external validation, or the pursuit of temporary pleasures. But true fulfillment is found when we align ourselves with the purpose God has designed for us. This alignment is not something that happens overnight. It is a process that demands intentional living and an openness to God's direction. To stay in alignment with God's purpose, you must first have a clear understanding of who you are and why you exist. Each of us was created with a unique set of gifts, talents, and passions. But these are not simply for our personal enjoyment or success. They are meant to be used to serve others, to contribute to the greater good, and to fulfill God's divine plan. When we lose sight of this, we begin to live with a sense of emptiness, as though something is missing. We may achieve worldly success or accumulate wealth, but without alignment with God's purpose, those accomplishments feel hollow and unsatisfying. The key to finding true fulfillment is not found in what the world values, but in discovering and pursuing the purpose that God has set before us. Staying in alignment requires humility and a willingness to submit to God's will. It's about recognizing that His plan for your life is greater than any plan you could create for yourself. Often this means surrendering your own desires, ambitions, and timeline to His greater wisdom. It may not always make sense in the moment, but when you choose to trust God's direction, you are opening the door to a life of abundance, peace, and purpose. Many times, we try to force our own way, seeking to control the outcome and dictate the terms. But this only leads to frustration and disappointment. Alignment comes when we acknowledge that God's understanding is beyond our own, and we trust that He will guide us along the right path. Being in alignment with God's purpose also means being sensitive to His voice. God speaks to us in many ways, through the Bible, through prayer, through circumstances, and sometimes through the counsel of others. The key is being open and attentive to His guidance. This requires quieting the noise of the world and creating space to hear from Him. In today's fast-paced, distracted world, it is easy to become disconnected from the divine. But staying in alignment requires intentional effort to tune in to what God is saying. Prayer is a vital part of this process. Through prayer, we communicate with God and seek His guidance on the decisions we make. It is through prayer that we receive clarity and confirmation on the path we should take. When we remain prayerful and open, we can more easily discern God's will for our lives and follow His direction. In addition to listening to God, staying in alignment with His purpose also means living a life of obedience. God's purpose for your life is revealed through His Word and the promptings of the Holy Spirit, but it is up to you to act on what He reveals. Obedience is not always easy. It often requires sacrifice, stepping out of your comfort zone, and trusting in God's timing. There will be moments when following God's purpose will challenge your faith and require you to make difficult choices. But obedience is the key that unlocks the blessings and rewards of living in alignment with God's will. As you obey, you grow stronger in your faith, and you begin to see the fruit of your labor in ways you never imagined. Staying in alignment also means embracing God's timing. We often want things to happen on our terms, and we get impatient when things don't unfold as quickly as we would like. But God's timing is perfect. His delays are not denials. They are opportunities for us to grow, to learn, and to prepare for what is to come. Trusting in God's timing requires patience and faith, knowing that He is working behind the scenes, even when we cannot see the full picture. When we align ourselves with His timing, we stop forcing things and start flowing with His plans. We move in step with His will rather than trying to outrun it. Staying in alignment with God's purpose also involves surrounding yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with can either pull you closer to God's plan for your life or distract you from it. God often works through the people around us, providing guidance, encouragement, and wisdom. Surrounding yourself with those who share your values and who encourage you in your faith can help you stay grounded and focused on your purpose. These relationships provide support when times are tough and celebrate with you when blessings unfold. When you are aligned with God's purpose, you begin to see your life in a different light. You stop living for temporary gratification and start living for eternal significance. Your goals, decisions, and actions begin to reflect God's heart for the world, and you become an instrument through which His love, grace, and truth flow. Living in alignment with God's purpose is not just about you. It's about fulfilling a greater mission that impacts those around you and ultimately the world. It is a life that is marked by peace, purpose, and joy, because you are walking in the path that was set for you from the beginning of time. Staying in alignment with God's purpose requires commitment, but the rewards are immeasurable. It is the path that leads to fulfillment, peace, and a life that is marked by lasting impact. As we close today, remember that blessings are not random occurrences or strokes of luck. They are the natural result of living in alignment with divine principles. Principles that have been established to guide us toward a life of purpose, fulfillment, and abundance. These principles are timeless and unchanging, and they provide the blueprint for unlocking the blessings that are already assigned to your life. Understand the source of your blessings. Embrace the gifts you've been given. Live by the principles that govern them, and honor those principles in every area of your life. When you make these principles a part of your daily walk, you will begin to see transformation in every area. In your relationships, in your work, in your finances, and most importantly, the blessings you are seeking are not somewhere out of reach, but are waiting for you to step into your true identity and purpose. You are a vessel of divine potential, and as you align your life with the divine purpose that God has set before you, you will begin to see the fullness of His blessings unfold. It is not enough to know these principles. You must live them. When you do, you will unlock the life that God has designed for you, one filled with peace, purpose, and prosperity. The journey to unlocking your blessings starts with the commitment to live by divine principles. Let your life be a reflection of the power of those principles, and watch as blessings overflow in ways you never imagined. Now, walk in your purpose. Apply these principles and receive the blessings that are already assigned to you. God is ready to unlock them. The question is, are you ready to walk in them? The time is now. Step forward in faith and let your life become the manifestation of the divine blessings that await you.